Hello everyone and welcome to my video. In one of my previous videos I've talked about Somerset versus Stuart. It's a case law which comes up in my law degree, and it's something that I'll be writing about when I make my book available with all my coursework notes so that people can learn to self-represent, which I'd love to see people do. Somerset versus Stuart was from 1772. Lord Mansfield openly talks about his disgust towards positive law, and positive law is statute law. That's what we've got alongside our common law system, which we initially had, and now statute law has been brought in. We'll actually learn about when that was, and you'll have, if you follow my work on Noahide, you'll know that I've been talking about 1066 from the Norman invasion, which brought in the invited Jewish people, the Jews over, who started a new monetary system, and then that monetary system became a legal system, and we'll look at that from evidence perspective. But this is going to look at Noahide laws, because I believe, and I've been considering this for a very long time, but we are actually in the Revelation 20 of the Bible. So that is when Satan has his season, and I believe that there is a ongoing cycle of statute laws, and a period of time where it's simply just common law, and then there'll be a time and an era come in later on where that statute law, that Pharisees, I'll call it the Pharisees season, because that's what Jesus called it, wasn't it? He called it the Satan's synagogue of Satan with regards to the Pharisees, and he was very outspoken on the Pharisees and their behaviours and their ways and their contradictions and everything like that. So I believe we're in that season now. I believe that we will enter a time in the future whereby it will be common law again. The reason why I feel that is because in Revelation 21, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Admiral law, maritime law. We see here that in southern Italy it came into effect in 1063, and it was around this time that the Pope, I think it was Sylvester II, something like that, he gave permission for the Normans to invade England. We see here, Bracton noted further that Admiralty law was also used as an alternative to the common law in England. It was used to abolish our common law system, which it didn't quite do, but it did work. It is running alongside it. And the EU, had we have stayed, and we kind of still are in the EU, then it would have overtaken common law, because it would have gotten rid of common law, but we've managed to hold on to it, which previously required voluntary submission to it by entering a plea seeking judgment from the court. I'm going to go back to Somerset because this one talks about their absolute disdain for positive law or statute law. The state of slavery is of such nature that it is incapable of being introduced for any reasons, moral or political, but only by positive law, which preserves its force long after the reasons, occasions, and its time itself from whence it was created is erased from memory. So it's irrelevant to our society today, because common law works with our function of today and present, whereas statute law doesn't, and it imposes itself on the society regardless of whether it's suitable for the system at that time. It is so odious that nothing can be suffered to support it but positive law. And positive law, again, is an odious law. I've also talked about how our calendar changed. I think it was just before that case, Somerset, in 1752. So imagine the confusion going on within society at that time, and imagine the changes, the massive changes they can make to history through all that confusion. I noticed that they change monetary systems as well, which cause confusion when they change over from shillings and all those sorts of old currencies over to pounds and pence. And you know, when I spoke to my parents about shillings and farthings or whatever they were called, it seems so confusing to me. And likewise for them, it would have been really confusing changing over to a monetary system. So imagine the confusion when the calendar changes and the manipulation that can be created. So we know about the 7 laws of Noah. People in alternative media have been talking about Noahide laws for a long time and panicking about them. Well, I think that we are already in that situation anyway. It says the 7 laws of Noah include prohibitions against worshipping idols, cursing God, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, eating flesh torn from a living animal, and courts of justice. The judiciary is a system of courts that adjudicates legal disputes, disagreements, and interprets, defends, and applies the law in legal cases. Well, we didn't have that system prior to 1066. We had common law, which was a very different system. However, in some countries, the judiciary does make common law, but it was a rival to the laws which coming from Italy, which probably means, the Roman and Byzantine legal codes. It was coming from Rome, these changes, and I believe that the Normans were, or are, the Romans basically, and working in together again with the Pharisees. But did you know that there are 30 commandments, not 7? So you've got idolatry, passing a child through fire in the worship of Molech, stick divination. I don't know what stick divination is. Divining of auspicious times, interpreting of omens or superstitions, witchcraft or sorcery. And sorcery is actually pharmakia, which is pharmaceuticals, which we have. Charming, using incantations, consulting mediums. We have a lot of that going around on the seaside, in the seaside in UK. Consulting oracles, necromancy, sexual sins, be fruitful, multiply seed, don't draw up marriage contracts for homosexuals, which is happening with the church, crossbreeding of animals, castration, grafting trees. That's a shocking one. Striking a Jew, blasphemy, murder, honour the Torah and Torah scholars, studying relevant parts of the Torah, theft, no to study non-relevant parts of the Torah, establishment of a system of justice, not to observe the Sabbath, eating all or part of a living creature, blood of a living creature, eating an animal that died without proper slaughter, and human flesh. Now, the reason why the 30 commandments aren't applied today is because the Pharisees did not believe them to be relevant. They only believed in the 7, but not in the other parts, like the sorcery and the crossbreeding of animals and grafting trees and drawing up marriage contracts for homosexuals. And the Pharisees were only one sect of the Jewish school of thought. So all the other Jews, many, well, not all of them, but many of the Jews from the different sects do not agree with the Pharisees' concepts. And I believe the Pharisees are what I call the celebrity Jews of today. I've got Jewish people in my family. Well, they were raised as Jews and then they converted to Christianity, but I don't have a problem necessarily with people of different religions and ethnicity, but to start bringing people over here into the countries of established countries, I think that that's an issue because we are not mature enough, clearly, to handle multiculturalism, because there's this infantilizing these different groups of people, and that shows an immaturity of such a scale that we are not adequately capable of dealing with multiculturalism. So yeah, I'll look into this a little bit deeper. I just wanted to go over the 7 Noahide laws because I keep hearing people saying it's coming. I think it's going. I think it's going because I'm confident that people are going to start self-representing. I'm confident because they're going to suddenly realise that these lawyers, when you pay these lawyers, or when you ask these lawyers to represent you through the no-win, no-fee system, they will only represent you in the way that they feel will be profitable to them. They will not represent you and your argument as you wish it to be represented. So you may collect masses upon masses of evidence, and I think there's Richard D. Hall. He's gone to court recently and he was complaining that his lawyer was not representing all of his arguments. Yeah, well, that happened to me. That happens to everybody. They do not represent you. They're just working for a fee and to profit from your case. And that would be the legal system, right? It's a setup that they've got this fake system that they've set up, and it works to benefit them and to hide information. They'll deliberately omit information from the courts so that they are always looked after, they are always taken care of through their own manipulative system. And this is why I think it goes round in a cycle of good and bad. And then I think there is literally going to become a period of time very soon in the next decades where I think that they'll be extradited, the Jewish overlords. The Pharisees, let's call them, they'll be removed, and back to their Khazarian empire, which they're rebuilding anyway. I'll do more into this. I've got the hiccups, and it's distracting me. I'll do more into this, and I'll do a blog on it as well, because I find it so fascinating. I'll probably add a bit more to the blog, and I'll probably notice even more information on a longer video. I hope that the 40 minutes is okay. It could be an hour. I don't really like to take people's time because people's time is important to them, but I'll try and find different ways to get the information across and as quickly as possible for you. Okay, well, thanks for your time on this one. Please like, share, subscribe and comment. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.